Me was that your family fled Iran in 1979, and I feel like that uniquely positions you in terms of the values of freedom that are so important in this country. So can you just talk a little bit about your background and why that lends itself that people should be voting for you?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. My family and I fled a religious, oppressive government in Iran in 1979. I was just an infant, and we came to the United States. My parents were 26, and they had, they didn't have two nickels to rub together. And they worked very hard. My mother delivered yellow pages to put my father through school. He ultimately became a surgeon, and we lived the American dream. And that's what this is really about. That's what is at stake for our country right now, is the American dream. And I think that people want to see the American dream stay alive and well. And members in Congress right now on the Democrat side, like Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, AOC, they want to take that away from us. And that's why it's so important that we have someone in Congress like me, a conservative counterpunch to them, to be able to fight fire with fire.
Now, of course, several key issues that are important in the country right now, the economy being key. So you have 5 other primary candidates that you have to kind of beat before you can get to Charlie Crist, who we know, basically every day stands for something different depending upon what the public wants to hear. So what makes you different from those other primary candidates? Why should people say, well, this candidate really gets what's going on in the country and is going to help me in my situation?
Sure. Well, I think it's important to understand that we need to have a Congress that is controlled by Republicans. I think what people have seen is they're tired of Nancy Pelosi having the gavel. They're tired of the constant going after our president, the impeachment, the investigations, and they want to see someone who understands the process and can go through that and really be the counterpunch, be the counter voice, be the conservative who not only stands with the president and supporting the president's agenda, but also understands and knows Congress better than anyone else on this primary stage in this district. I worked in Congress for 10 years. I'm a healthcare policy expert. So I understand at a very critical time for healthcare during coronavirus, I understand that. But also just having an understanding of small businesses. My father is a small business owner. He's a physician. And, I worked in his office. I understand what's at stake when people want to get back to work. People want to get back to their normal lives. And you have governors that have shut things down for political reasons. And I think having someone there who understands all those things and is going to fight for the things that Americans want is really important to have.
Charlie Crist will not be easy to beat. He has a lot of money behind him. He's been very successful. So just quickly, last question, what would be your message to voters if you were to win the primary and you were facing against Charlie Crist? Why should they vote for you? And why should they not vote for Charlie Crist, more importantly?
Sure. Charlie Crist was one of the first members to come out on impeachment. And I will tell you, regardless of what the polls say, the president is very popular here. We're just outside of Tampa in the Clearwater, St. Petersburg area. He is extremely popular. And having someone like Charlie Crist in office, who doesn't represent our voice, was the first to go after the president on impeachment, just tells you how out of touch he is with the people of his district. Charlie has been running for office since I was 9 years old. I'm 41. He's been in office for 3 decades. There isn't a brick in a sidewalk here named after him because he doesn't do anything for anyone. And so not having a true public servant here, someone who's willing to play politics, be a part of the DCCC's leadership team when he was once a Republican governor of the state, it just tells you that he is so out of touch. People want someone who they can rely on, someone who will be their voice, and someone who will stop the impeachment process, someone who will stop the investigations and work for the American people.
Well, Amanda, we thank you for coming on. This is an important race to watch. This district now leans purple, and it's a fascinating district. I think it's going to be on the national scene. So we'll be following along,
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for telling us what you're all about today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We have invited Amanda's fellow candidates on the show. We should